Black Lives Matter, traditional life.
Stay away from me! Hey everyone, I don't think many people appreciate disagreements, so I'm going to talk about why disagreements are needed and why they shouldn't lead to incivility. The first reason is that a disagreement can get you to think about a topic in a way you probably never thought about before. The reason why my positions in my videos are getting more nuanced is because I'm listening to other people on the left and on the right. I'm listening, and if there's new information that I can obtain to give me a bigger picture, then I appreciate that. My first video on Islam and Muslim people was arguably coming from a right-wing perspective, which is weird because you'd be considered left-wing for criticizing Christianity. The extreme left-wing narrative is to blame for calling those who criticize Islam Islamophobic. Despite this, I listened to people on the left and decided I need to emphasize that not all Muslim people are violent, and there are Muslim people who condemn terrorist attacks. I realized that this isn't a black and white issue. Yes, Islam is a barbaric religion and I don't agree with mass immigration, but I believe I have a bigger perspective on this topic because I listened to people on the left. When it comes to the alt-right, I approached it from a left-wing perspective. They are just racist wannabe edgelords. After listening to people on the right, I realized that perhaps some of them felt alienated by the extreme left-wing narrative. Imagine being a straight cis white man and being told your very existence is a problem. This isn't to say everyone on the left contributed to this, but the extremists gave the alt-right a key selling point to grow in numbers. Also, there are hardcore racists who didn't need the extremists on the left to become who they are. So I won't give the oversimplified explanation that the left caused people to join the alt-right. Although I understand why some people may join the alt-right, and I too despise the anti-white narrative that the extremists push onto others. This doesn't mean I support the alt-right. Many of them became the ideologues they wanted to get away from. They are so tribalistic to the point that any disagreement warrants a negative response, even if you're polite. It's rare for me to have a pleasant conversation with them. Due to the alt-right's refusal to call out the toxic behavior of their fellow peers, they've become just as much of a problem as the extremists on the left. For now, I think the extremists on both sides are just fueling each other, with acts of compromise being few and far between. These are just two of many examples, and by listening to people I disagree with, allowed me to gain a broader perspective on various topics. If I get perceived as an SJW on one video and an Uncle Tom on another, then so be it. The second reason why I enjoy disagreements is because they can allow me to think about why I came to my position in the first place. Do I hold to these positions because someone I admire holds them too? Or can I articulate why I hold these positions myself? This is especially important when it comes to controversial topics. If I can't explain properly why I disagree with race realism or Dr. Sebi's quackery, they could push me into a corner and declare victory. I personally don't like thinking of having a discourse as a game to be won. It doesn't leave room for intellectual honesty, and you're going to do whatever it takes not to lose. I rather think of it as a chill exchange of information. I understand that the more controversial a topic is, the less likely it will be calm, but I figured if I stay calm, then the other person might have an incentive to stay calm themselves. The third and final reason why I like disagreements is because they remind me that I don't have an echo chamber. I encourage people to disagree with me if they find something they don't agree with me on. Honestly, I don't think people need to be told this. Y'all are really good at letting me know when you disagree with me. My only concern is how you're disagreeing with me. This next part doesn't apply to everyone. I don't mind people disagreeing with me, and you can give me as many dislikes to your heart's content. But will it kill you to explain why you disagree with me instead of using buzzwords and ad hominems? I get called a coon for disagreeing with black nationalism, I get called stupid for entertaining the thoughts of having more than two genders, and so forth. Also, I would like for race realists to address my actual positions instead of strawmanning me and or calling me a nigger or black tranny lightning. The latter is funny, but my points still stand. I also find it funny that I'm also being called a Jew, so that's not just a white person thing now. Yeah, that will get me to question my position. You got me good. Also, if you just dislike my videos without commenting, I don't get anything out of that. I've gotten to the point where I'm used to having more dislikes than likes. You're just wasting your time by disliking and not telling me what I did wrong or why you disagree with me. My reaction is, someone got offended, and I'll keep doing what I've been doing. If I still disagree with you after talking to me, then I just wasn't convinced. It's nothing to feel upset about, and I can say this because it's going both ways. I don't expect to convince every person I talk to, and disagreements should be expected. I'm glad I don't have an echo chamber and people are free to voice their opinions, whatever it is. For those who disagree with me on something and are still subscribed, you are awesome. That takes a high level of maturity. I can understand if I'm repeatedly making videos you don't like and there's nothing you find appealing about me, but if you liked my videos but one was enough to cause you to unsubscribe, all I can say is broaden your horizons, dude. This doesn't apply to the hate watch subscribers if I have any. I really don't like this groupthink mentality, in which everyone must think a certain way or hold certain positions to be accepted. If there's anything to take away from this video, it would be to stop treating disagreements as if it's a bad thing. Here's something I've been thinking about recently. During this period, I'm changing a lot by listening to disagreements. Would I consider myself an anti-SJW? No, I'm actually not anti-anything. I can only have a problem with how someone behaves when discussing ideas. Of course, I can disagree with you, but I will never be so adamantly against your ideas that I want them silenced. However, if you're an ideologue and you show no sign of considering an opposing argument, then I'm not going to take you seriously. In these cases, I just ignore you or block you if you repeatedly misrepresent my arguments in a trollish nature. I rarely block people, but it is an option for people like that. Although my confidence that the truth will always shine through is waning a bit, I still believe an open discourse is needed. This doesn't mean everything I say is the truth, because I have been wrong and I will be wrong. I've admitted to many of my mistakes and changed my stance on issues plenty of times. I would never claim to have the truth on any subject, and I will do my best to support everything I say with valid sources when needed. I know the word truth has become vague nowadays and open to everyone's unique interpretation. We have the truth. No, we have the truth. Let me define what I mean by truth. Truth is that which is true or in accordance with fact or reality, meaning something that remains to be true even when independent from our subjective interpretation. So if you're a feminist, you think racism is power plus prejudice, or think there's a billion genders, I won't silence your right to hold these positions. Of course, I don't like radical feminists. I don't think I'll ever agree with changing the definition of racism at the expense of white people, and I don't put a number on gender. I left my video open-ended so people can make their own conclusions, but people didn't take it well. I guess that's what I get for breaking the YouTube commentary mode. Fortunately, the dislikes don't bother me to the point where I'm going to stop talking about certain topics, but this can be discouraging to someone else who wants to express a disagreement. You're making YouTube hostile to anyone wanting to talk about gender, and you're creating an echo chamber by weeding out dissent in a toxic way. A lot of the disagreements was just reinforcing two genders, even though I never said you couldn't think that way, and others treated my position on gender as a sin towards the skeptic community. What was supposed to be a lighthearted video turned into a crap storm. I hate how many content creators shaped others to behave when it comes to gender. I only liked a few comments disagreeing with me because of that. It's really disappointing, and I don't think it will change anytime soon. So this also applies to typical right-wing positions. If you're okay with no further gun control regulations, you disagree with abortion, or you support traditional family values, I don't think you should be silenced. I do believe people should have the right to bear arms, but further gun control is needed. It's just too easy for the wrong person to get guns. Granted, the wrong person will always find a way to get a gun, but let's find ways to lower their chances of getting a hold of one. For those who think we should ban guns, the solution to murders via guns and mass shootings isn't to ban guns. The problem is much deeper than that. A gun is simply a tool to achieve an end, so we should be concerned to what led to the shooting. Gun control is simply a small fix to the problem, but we need to focus on the underlying problems that would cause someone to shoot another person other than for self-defense. I support a woman's choice to have an abortion or not, and I'm far from a traditional man, so I have to disagree with traditional family values by default. I was called a centrist once, but I don't think I am. Honestly, I don't know what to call myself at this point, and I don't care. Like gender identity and sexual orientation, I no longer care about political labels. Use your own discretion, but make sure you address my arguments. Feel free to voice your disagreements. I'm listening if you're not being obnoxious. However, I will have to mention that there are core beliefs of mine that I don't think I'll ever change. I'll never discriminate against other groups of people unjustly. I'll always be an advocate of science and reasoning, and traps are not gay. Well, it depends on why you find them attractive. Is it the fact that they have a penis, or because they have the appearance of a woman? These are set in stone and will not change. You might be wondering, what if there's a disagreement over objective facts? If you're providing legitimate sources and the person still disagrees with you, then that person is an idiot. Relax, I'm kidding. I think the problem here is that there are multiple things a person agrees with, and in order for them to accept certain facts, they will have to change their opinion on multiple positions. Their strong conviction, which is an accumulation of multiple positions, doesn't leave room for changing their mind, even when presented with objective facts. There are layers upon layers of ideas, and they are interdependent on each other for support. If one goes, it might disrupt the whole thing, and most people aren't ready for such a drastic change. It usually requires a slow unraveling of these tangled threads, but the person has to want to do it themselves. You can't force them to do that. Try finding an approach that triggers them to do this on their own, or question the big source that's keeping everything together. Going in full ownage mode will only get them to defend harder. This is me speculating, of course, so don't take this to heart, but I hope you get the gist that people are complex, okay? Anyways, thanks for watching and take care. As I gaze at the powerful flame, I'm reminded how easily a disagreement could lead to hostility. I was bitten, and who knows when I will join them. Perhaps there is no infection, and it's all in my head. Do I have more control over the situation than I like to think I do? Or will I walk amongst the dead?